We're live again. It's Thursday. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Today is going to be a good one, and we're going to be talking about email subject lines. And if you're new to me, hello, I'm Sherry Otto, former demand leader at HubSpot, turned growth strategist. And today is exciting because we're going to tackle one really specific problem that a majority of us use, and that's email. So if you're promoting, if you're connecting, if you're doing any kind of communication in your business, this is the training to be on. And if you're joining us, let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm originally from New York, Long Island, New York, but now I live in the Carolinas, and it's hot down here. And so we're going to be just digging in to clear and compelling email subject lines, talking about frameworks to boost opens. Hello, welcome. Let's get it. I'm super excited. I'm going to refresh and get started. All right. So let me ask you a question. What if your best email is sitting inside of your inbox right now? Unopened, not because of the message, but because of the subject line. Right. So if you're new to me, I previously supported the demand marketing initiatives. Like I mentioned at HubSpot, I was on the demand automation team. We focused specifically in the email channel. And I'll never forget one of the most relatable opening lines I've saw that. Can I share that with you? Yes. Can I share? So I was QAing, I was doing some quality assurance on a colleague's email. And I kind of need to share this with you because this is going to set the tone for the rest of this quick power session. Now, these are short sessions, 10, maybe 12 minutes. We're going to get in there, give you some frameworks and get out. And if that's cool with you, say yes, say I'm excited, drop me your favorite emoji, and let's get into it. So I got to tell you, like, this email opener, the first sentence in the email said, getting people to open and read your email is hard. Trust us, we know. And then had that emoji. And I thought that was really remarkable. I said, oh my goodness, this is brilliant. And I was in awe. I was gushing over her email. And I was looking around, seeing if anyone caught the level of brilliance in this first sentence in her email. So I said, is anyone going to stop and comment on how good this is? It was so juicy. And I was like, is this not just me? So I wanted to check the metrics to make sure like that I was in tune with what was good and what good looked like, not just for me, but for our millions of contacts that we had at HubSpot. So what I learned is that it worked really well. It became one of the top performing newsletters for the quarter. Okay, so my sort of instincts were correct. And I wonder what was working well here. What worked well? So the opening statement worked well because it was human. It was honest. It was relatable. How many of us know that you need to be relatable and have relatable content, across the board, no matter what type of marketing assets you're sharing? We need to be relatable these days, especially in this, deep era of AI where there's a sea of sameness going on. We've got to really connect with our audience here. Yes. So I want that for you. So drop the word relate in the chat if you agree with me. Like, we need to relate with our contacts. We need to find a way to connect and relate to them and let them feel that they can relate to us. And that's when we can lead them to the promised land, lead them to the solution. So let's leverage that being relatable inside of our marketing, especially in this era of AI. Today, I'm going to help you rethink how to show up in the inbox. Was that cool with you guys? If this is helpful at any time, simply go and just share this out with your network. You can actually do this live. You can go to the share button and then click share or invite others to this live as well, if you think it's helpful, if they are sending out emails to their audience as well. Okay, so I want you to also stick around to the end because I really got an exciting announcement that has to do with your emails and ways that you can instantly improve your emails, and go from sort of like, this is okay, to like, how do we really influence your audience and how do we create persuasion techniques instantly in your emails? So that's exciting, and it's free. And I want to tell you more about that towards the end. Okay, so because after being a guest, I was actually a guest on several email roasts recently, including the one with Exit 5. And I started to kind of understand, like, there's certain patterns that we're missing. There's certain things that we need to tackle. And I want to kind of drill down to those things today because this is a power session. We got to get really focused. And I know that there's an opportunity to really improve our B2B emails in this space. So that's why we're talking about it today. So let's just keep going and let's make your content like the best content it can be inside of the inboxes of your contacts. Okay, so let's start here. Let's start with the moment that your campaign failed because your prospect didn't even open it. And it wasn't because your offer was bad. No, it wasn't because your timing was off. It was because your subject line never made it past the brain's filter. We're processing information constantly, and it needs to figure out a way not just to cut through the noise, but to really like get through to your contacts in a way that makes them feel connected so that they can open your email and read what you have to say. This is the invisible $1 million mistake. The invisible $1 million mistake. And if you're seeing low open rates, then this might be why. Yes. So here's a truth that nobody wants to admit in B2B, but I'm going to tell you because we're friends here. And hey, Troy, good to see you here. Okay, so your best emails are probably sitting unopened in the inbox. Why? Because you led with clever and pithy and not clear. So people didn't understand what it was about. So they just kind of kept going and scrolling on their inbox. Okay. And also, what I've seen through doing these email roasts with companies like Exit 5 and kind of seeing emails across the board, we are being too vague. Like you're wanting to be curious, like have curiosity, but it's just not specific. It's vague. So again, that's why we're seeing these email open rates. And while you're optimizing for creativity, your competitors, you know what they're optimizing for? They're optimizing for safety. Oof. Safety, specificity, and trust. Drop a aha in the chat if you needed that today. Okay, let's keep going. So one of the first founders that I work with, they had a big feature launch, a new feature that they've been working on for a really long time, many months, and they were getting ready to launch it to the market. They had everything planned out and they had like 10 emails in their campaign and they had great content and the offer was strong. Like those features were like, okay, this is going to work really well. But then they sent out the emails and they had 0 replies and really little engagement. Right. And why? Because the subject line said this, you've got to see this with a fire emoji in the front. How many of us know like that might not be the ticket here? Okay. So, and especially because the audience wasn't like a hot audience. It was like a lukewarm audience or a cold audience. So this particular subject line just not hit home here. Fire emoji, you've got to see this. It didn't work well. So what would work well in this scenario? Well, let me tell you. We rewrote the email subject line. The first iteration of it said, walkthrough, now live. See this new feature in action. Oh, okay. Right? Because it was a great feature. So we renamed, and then we actually named the feature. So we named what the feature was. So the same list, the same email went from 3% to 27% because we increased the specificity and we were very clear and they felt safe that they knew what to expect when they opened this email. That makes sense? Troy's question said, do you feel that sometimes it's always a moving target? Yeah, I do. So as a moving target for your email subject lines and trying to like really hone in, I would say get anchored in who your segment is. So it's not a moving target. So it's something where you're like, okay, this is a brand new group of folks. They're going to get this type of email and it's not going to be very vague. But this other group, they've been with me for a long time. And so I'm going to use curiosity. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I'm going to use curiosity around a topic that's really relevant to what I know that they are thinking about today. So yeah, I think sometimes it's hit and miss with certain things, but I think we can start to use frameworks to really anchor us. And especially as we think about like how warm our lists and our segments are. So that's a good question, Troy. Thanks for asking. So let's keep going here. So subject lines aren't just copy. We want to start thinking of it as context, right? So like, here's a subject line, and then inside of the email, this is sort of where we deliver on the promise of the subject line. Let me get some context, we can get some clues here. Clues enough so that I understand what this is about, what this journey you're about to take me on, because it's a journey. From subject line to email inbox is a journey. So like, where are you taking me? Where is this going? Can I trust you to feel safe and move here? And the colder the audience, the more clarity you're going to need. So think about who you're sending this email to, and that will help us not feel like it's such a moving target. So curiosity is important. Yes, it is important. I like to use curiosity in our hooks for social media. It's called an open loop. You want to give your audience questions, but this is a slippery slope because you can't just be curious with no relevance. So let me give you a 3-part clear curiosity filter. Number 1, it's relevance, like we just mentioned. Is it curiosity inside of a deep topic that you know your audience is really trying to figure out and navigate right now? Then you can kind of show some curiosity in your subject line and have it be like a cliffhanger. Okay, come inside to learn more. Does that work? Number 2, curiosity with clarity. What we're just talking about. Like have curiosity, but also have real clarity on like where we're going for that psychological safety. And number 3, the human tone, like by evaluating so many B2B emails in the last couple of months, being on several roasts and critiques, even one this past week, it's the same story across the board. We're being really generic and we're being very like we're really leading with ChatGPT, and it's becoming it's kind of turning people off, and so they're not, and it's really hurting your trust levels. What you want to do is ensure that you're speaking from a human perspective, just like the email that my HubSpot colleague shared. You want to create curiosity for a topic that you know that they have a vested interest in, but also that they can relate to. Remember that email? The first line of her sentence said that, you know, we understand what it's like to try to get people to open, with a wink emoji. Oh, it really captured the human mission behind marketing at HubSpot or any brand. We all feel the desire to get people to open our emails. She talked about that, and that's why it was one of the top performing newsletters for the quarter. So for relevance, especially to cold to warm audiences, you want to have that relevance and signal what's inside. What can they expect? Let them feel like, okay, I know what to expect if I read this. Don't bait and switch them. So here's an example. New stock donation rules explain a 2-minute read. Okay, I totally understand what this is about. This signals utility and speed. You want to use curiosity with clarity. So if you're going to do that, make sure you're really clear. Here's an example. These are the open loops that earn attention but not confuse, while your CRM isn't the problem yet. Okay, so something about my CRM, I'm kind of curious to know. It could be a problem, and I don't want that to be a problem. Let me click to see more. Then finally, sound like a human. Again, use conversational language. Got 2 minutes? I got 2 minutes. I mean, I don't got 10 minutes, but I got 2 minutes, right? Let's fix that in your nurture sequences. Okay. So what's happening neurologically here? So I talk a little bit about, if you're new to me, I talk about behavioral science. So how are we doing this? How do we get attention? So if you don't mind, I'd love to get a little bit technical here. Like, will that be okay? We talk about anchoring. In order to anchor us in these concepts, I'd love to share what's happening neurologically with our brains and using behavioral science when these things happen. So you're creating processing fluency. The brain loves simple systems. The brain loves simple systems. You're reducing the cognitive friction. Oh, that's such a gift. You're reducing cognitive friction and cognitive load. Like, take the load off of them, let them know exactly what this is going to be about. And you're triggering a pattern interrupt by avoiding all the hypey lingo, jargon. Transform this, and this is a new movement. Like, people don't want to hear that, you know? So like, you're really like taking away all the fluff and just kind of like talking conversationally with being human. And when you do that consistently, your audience starts to associate your name with trust, not trickery. And that's how you can increase engagement in your emails and open rates in your emails over time. So that's the difference between a deleted campaign and a booked call. I just wanted to give that to you today. And if this was helpful, feel free to like tag a friend or share this out. So if you ever felt like your email isn't working anymore, it's not the email, it's how you're showing up in the inbox. And most of the times, you don't need to stand out. You just need to signal safety and relevance fast. Because while you're optimizing for creativity, your competitors are optimizing for that safety, for that signal, for that piece of context that gives them trust and that psychological security. How many of us know that we need trust, and that needs to be a priority in our B2B context and content, assets, emails? We need trust to book more meetings. We need trust to book more, schedule more demos, generate more event attendees. It's all about trust. So today we talked about why the wrong subject line makes your best content invisible. And we don't want your best content to be invisible. They haven't opened it. It's right there sitting in their inbox. We got to get your juicy information and insights and knowledge and experience really out there. I shared the clear curiosity filter framework with you that helped my clients boost open rates without those spam tactics or, jargon that sounds very generic or overly promotional. But here's the next challenge. Even if you do get that open, what happens next? Most teams that are still kind of guessing what to send, when to send it, how to follow up, and how to turn that engagement into pipeline dollars, right? How do we do that? What are the next steps? Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to be teaching in my upcoming full training, turning signals into pipeline without rebuilding your funnel. And you can grab the link to that and get on that wait list. We'll put the link in the comments for you right now. Vanessa has that link for you. Or you can feel free to scan that QR code. But I want to teach you exactly like what the frameworks look like, your workflows. How do you engage or re-engage cold lists? How do you take folks who are showing some interest and move them further down the funnel? And how do you do this really fast with clarity and confidence? That's what we'll be discussing. And join the waitlist too, because I'll be sharing those behind the scenes techniques, strategies. We'll be providing winning workflows, like I mentioned. And I'm going to tell you how you can get your hands on the free AI tool that allows you to improve your email copy instantly. So whether you're sending emails to a promotional event or whether you are trying to re-engage your list or even book more demos, this tool will be really exciting. So that's coming up. It's actually in beta, so we'll talk more about that. But get on the list and be the first to grab it and start using it and implementing it into your business right now. Okay, that's it. I'm so super excited that you joined us today. And if you're catching this on the replay, drop a comment and let me know what stood out for you. And we'll actually be here next Thursday talking about another topic that's going to help you increase the velocity of your pipeline, drive demand, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye, everyone.